The sharp, clear voice was like ice shards hitting my ear. I blinked, the glaring overhead light making me dizzy for a moment. Before me was a stunningly beautiful face, but her eyes, those gorgeous eyes, held nothing but cold disdain. Sophia Miller, my wife. She pushed a document across the table. The 5 bold words, divorce settlement agreement, practically sang a siren song of freedom. My mind buzzed. Wait, wasn't this 10 years ago, just a year after I'd moved into the Miller mansion as their live-in husband? I was reborn. In my past life, to prove myself worthy of her, to silence everyone who looked down on me. I'd left the Miller family and battled through the business world for a decade, forging a vast corporate empire. But in the end, all that was left was endless exhaustion and a body riddled with illness. On my deathbed, I lay alone, not a single loved one by my side. Now, fate was giving me a do-over. I was tired, truly exhausted. To hell with corporate empires, to hell with being a titan of industry. This time, I just wanted to coast through life. Looking at Sophia's ice-cold face, my heart practically did a jig. Sign it. Gotta sign it. Right now. Freedom. Here I come. After the divorce, I'll feast for 3 days straight. Hit up every cuisine imaginable. Then I'll find a quiet cabin by a lake, brew my own craft beer, adopt a lazy dog, and wake up naturally every day. Now that's the good life. My hand shot out, eager for the pen. Sophia watched my impatient gesture, her disgust deepening. She knew it. The good-for-nothing was just itching to take her settlement money and run. She was about to sneer a biting remark when a voice, completely alien to her own, suddenly echoed in her mind. Feast for 3 days straight. Hit up every cuisine imaginable. That voice. Was it Alex's? Sophia's brows furrowed instantly. She looked up, staring intently at me. I was grinning, reaching for the pen, my face practically glowing with happiness. He hadn't said anything out loud. Was she hearing things? Was the pressure at work finally getting to her? I picked up the pen, my wrist trembling slightly as I prepared to sign my name. Yes, finally, this Ice Queen Sophia came to her senses. She deserves someone better. A freeloader like me, who just wants to live off others, really isn't worthy of her. Let's get this done quickly, so I don't hold her back. Another clear thought. Sophia's pale hand trembled violently, and the document slipped from her grasp, rustling to the floor. Her face turned ashen, and she stared at me in disbelief. Her reaction startled me, and I paused. Are you okay? I asked cautiously. Did she have second thoughts? Doesn't want to pay? No way, lady. Sophia didn't answer. She just stared, as if trying to see right through me. Could she hear my thoughts? No, that's absurd. What were you just thinking? She asked, her voice dry. My heart skipped a beat. Is she testing me? Trying to see if I really want a divorce? Women are complicated. No, I need to put on a good act. I need her to believe I'm a hopeless loser, so she'll kick me out without hesitation. I clear my throat, my face instantly morphing into an expression of profound sorrow, my eyes welling up. Sophia, I know I'm not good enough for you, but I truly love you. I don't want a divorce. As I confessed with exaggerated emotion, I was mentally cheering myself on. How's that for acting? I deserve an Academy Award for this. Come on, be disgusted by me. Shove that pen back in my hand and make me sign. Sophia, my personal Academy Award judge, was completely frozen. She heard my passive declaration, but her mind was simultaneously replaying my utterly joyful internal commentary. This man, he's a total faker? Sophia's worldview was undergoing a rapid overhaul. She looked at my grief-stricken face, but her mind kept replaying Academy Award and be disgusted by me. An unprecedented sense of absurdity washed over her. She picked up the divorce settlement from the floor, her fingers white from gripping it so tightly. Alex, she took a deep breath, trying to calm herself. You really don't want a divorce? My heart sank. No way. That wasn't enough? Did I overact, making her think I still have some use? No, I need to push it further, make her completely lose hope in me. I snatched the divorce settlement, waving it dramatically. I won't sign it. You can kill me, but I won't sign. Sophia, how can I live without you? Then, as if by accident, my hand slipped and I tore the agreement in half. Having done all that, I looked at her nervously, praying like mad. Call me names. Tell me I'm being unreasonable. Call security and throw this deadbeat out. Please. Sophia looked at the torn agreement, then at my face, which was practically screaming, "Come on, despise me." In her mind, my frantic pleas echoed. An indescribable emotion surged within her. It wasn't anger nor disgust, but a sudden urge to laugh. This man, who for 2 years of their marriage had seemed nothing but quiet and timid, had such a rich inner life. She was silent. My heart pounded as she said nothing. Oh no, why isn't this Ice Queen playing by the rules? Is she too angry to speak? Or did she suddenly find my agreement tearing incredibly attractive? Bah, Alex, snap out of it. You're supposed to be a pathetic, good-for-nothing live-in husband. Puff. A tiny sound escaped Sophia's lips. I froze. She laughed. It was fleeting, but I definitely saw it. The corner of her perpetually frozen mouth twitched upward. Sophia herself stiffened. She'd actually been amused by this loser's internal monologue. She quickly composed herself, her face returning to its icy demeanor. "We'll discuss the agreement later," she said coldly, turning to leave. Her footsteps were almost hurried, as if she were fleeing something. I stood there alone, utterly bewildered. Later? No. Strike while the iron's hot. Let's do it today. My dream life. My mental wail reached Sophia clearly as she closed the door. Her steps faltered for a second, and the corners of her mouth once again betrayed a slight, uncontrollable upward curl. The next day, at the Miller family dinner, the long dining table was packed with Miller relatives. As the only outsider, I sat at the very end, diligently devouring a plate of braised short ribs. Perfectly cooked, tender, and not greasy. But if they'd used a better soy sauce, it would be next level. What a shame. I ate, silently critiquing the food. Sophia, sitting near the head of the table, paused, her hand hovering over her glass, and gave me a complex glance. This guy, was there anything in his head besides food? "Sophia, I hear the company is bidding on the Grandview Tower project downtown recently." It was Sophia's uncle, Robert Miller. Sophia nodded. "Yes, Uncle Robert. But the competition is fierce, especially from our old rivals, Apex Corp. They're really determined this time." "Apex Corp?" A sarcastic voice chimed in. "Isn't that the company founded by that former deadbeat from our family who somehow became a CEO? Oh, what was his name again?" It was Sophia's cousin, Kyle Miller. He spoke, casting a meaningful glance my way. All eyes immediately turned to me. I didn't even look up, just speared another piece of short rib and popped it into my mouth. Who cares? Eating is the priority. But the Grandview Tower project, I remember that. In my previous life, it was a massive money pit. Anyone who touched it went bust. Apex Corp ran into cash flow problems because of that project, and I ended up swallowing them whole. If Sophia jumps in, the Miller Group will be crippled for at least 3 years. I was still musing internally, having finished one piece of meat and reaching for the next. Bang! Kyle slammed his hand on the table, pointing a finger at me. "Alex, you useless bum. The adults are discussing serious business, and all you can think about is food? Don't you know how much you embarrass the Miller family?" I finally looked up, staring at him blankly. What's this idiot freaking out about now? How is eating a piece of meat embarrassing? Is the Miller family's honor made of short ribs? Does it disappear if I eat it? Sophia, who had been sitting upright, nearly spat out her orange juice when she heard my thoughts. Honor made of short ribs? His analogies are always so unique. She stifled a laugh, her face still perfectly cold. But this time, she spoke, an unprecedented act. "Kyle," her voice was quiet, yet it silenced the entire dining room. "Regarding the Grandview Tower project, I've decided the Miller Group is pulling out." A bombshell. The table erupted. "What?" Robert and Kyle exclaimed simultaneously. "Sophia, have you lost your mind? That's the biggest project of the year." Sophia offered no explanation, merely stating calmly, "I have my reasons." Her gaze, however, unconsciously drifted to the man still diligently eating, head down. She didn't know why. It felt absurd, and her rational mind told her not to trust it. But the voice in her head had an undeniable certainty. It was as if everything he said was the absolute truth. She decided to take a gamble. Sophia's decision caused an uproar in the Miller family. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Uncle Robert puffed up, his face red. The Grandview Tower is such a lucrative deal. You just give it up? Sophia, have you been brainwashed by someone? His eyes shot meaningfully at me. My mouth was full, cheeks puffed out, and I looked utterly innocent. Why are they looking at me? I'm just an innocent glutton. But this Ice Queen Sophia actually has some guts today. Not bad, not bad. Teachable. This way, she won't run the company into the ground, and I'll get a bigger divorce settlement later. Sophia heard my compliment, and a complex mix of emotions churned within her. This guy, his compliments always came from such an unusual angle. All for the divorce settlement? Kyle outright leapt to his feet, pointing at Sophia's nose. Sophia Miller, don't think that just because Grandpa put you in charge, you can do whatever you want. I'm telling you, our marketing department has been tracking this project for 6 months. You just give up on it? What about all our hard work? Exactly. Kyle's mother, my aunt, chimed in. I think Sophia is just too tired. Her head isn't clear. How can you be so rash about such a big decision? Suddenly, everyone at the table, except me, was blaming Sophia. She sat there alone, like an isolated island. I looked at her tightly pressed lips and the eyes that feigned strength, and I suddenly felt a pang of something. Besides, this woman has it tough. Running such a big company at a young age, with a bunch of useless dead weight in the family. Kyle's a lightweight. What can he do besides shout? I accidentally saw his project proposal yesterday when I went to the bathroom, and it was absolute garbage. Apex Corp. Ace in the hole is Novatech Solutions' patent license. He doesn't even know that, and he's still rushing in? That's not charging in a battle. That's just throwing yourself at the enemy. Novatech Solutions? Patent license? Sophia's eyes lit up. It was like seeing a beam of light in a dark tunnel. Her own team was still investigating this core information. How did Alex? No, could it? A bold idea sparked in her mind. She looked at me, her gaze piercing. Her stare made me a little uneasy. Why is this Ice Queen looking at me again? Did she fall in love with me? No, I just want to coast through life, not deal with romance. Women only slowed down my eating. Sophia. She looked away, took a deep breath, and slowly stood up. Facing everyone's doubts, she uttered a single sentence. Not only am I abandoning the Grandview Tower project, I am also using all the company's liquid assets to fully acquire a small company called Novatech Solutions. Crazy. Sophia Miller, you've completely lost your mind. Kyle stared at her like she was insane. Using all our liquid assets for some unheard-of little company? Are you only satisfied after you've ruined the Miller Group? Robert's face also darkened. Sophia, I don't agree with this decision. Sophia merely gave them a calm look, her eyes filled with unprecedented determination. I am the CEO of the Miller Group. I will take responsibility for this decision. With that, she turned and walked away without hesitation. As she passed me, her footsteps paused briefly, and she whispered something only the two of us could hear. My study tonight. Me? Her study? Why? Is she going to give me some horrible marriage lecture? Or did she finally come to her senses and want to sign the divorce papers in a different location? That I can get behind. Sophia's back visibly stiffened. She quickened her pace, practically fleeing. Late that night, I nervously knocked on Sophia's study door. Come in. Still that icy tone. I pushed the door open, and a faint, sweet scent wafted towards me. Sophia sat behind a massive mahogany desk, dressed in a silk robe, her long hair loose. She looked less sharp than during the day, with a touch more softness. In the lamplight, her skin seemed to glow. I admit, my heart skipped a beat. Shameful. Vixen. She's definitely a vixen. Look away, look away. I'm here to talk about divorce, not admire beauty. Alex, have some principles. Sophia heard my internal struggle, her face expressionless, but her ears subtly reddened. She pointed to the chair opposite her. Sit. I sat obediently, like a school kid waiting for judgment. At dinner today, you mentioned Novatech Solutions. What was that about? She went straight to the point. My heart lurched. I said, what did I say that? I clearly thought it. Could it be? Holy cow. Can she really hear my thoughts? The thought shocked even me. Impossible, that's not scientific. It must be a coincidence. She's definitely trying to trick me. I immediately put on a blank expression. Novatech Solutions? Is it a new phone brand? Is it good? Sophia, She looked at my innocent stupidity, and hearing my internal torrent of holy cow, she almost lost her composure again. She decided to try a different approach. I've had people look into it. Apex Corp has indeed been in secret contact with Novatech Solutions. Their core patent is key technology for the Grandview Tower project. She paused, staring intently into my eyes. And I also found out that Novatech's founder is in desperate need of money for a family medical emergency and is preparing to sell the company at a low price. This information is currently known only to a very select few. Alex, how do you explain this? I was dumbfounded. What? This Ice Queen's intelligence network. Is that good? She even knows this? Oh no, how do I explain this now? Should I tell her I'm back from 10 years in the future? Would she believe me? She'd definitely think I'm crazy and have me committed. Then how would I coast through life and enjoy myself? My internal drama had already reached a tragic conclusion where I was wearing a straitjacket. Sophia heard my tragic future, and her mouth twitched. This guy's imagination, was it a bit too vivid? My eyes darted around, and I started spouting nonsense. I heard it. The other day at the farmer's market, I overheard two old guys playing chess talking about it. Perfect. This reason is flawless. Old guys at the farmer's market are always the most mysterious intelligence organization in the world. Sophia will definitely believe it. Sophia. She felt her temple throbbing. In her entire life, she'd never heard such a preposterous excuse. She was silent for a long time, so long I thought she was about to call security. Then, she slowly spoke, uttering words that instantly turned me to stone. All right, I believe you. Me? She believed me? She actually believed me? Do those farmers market old-timers have that much credibility? Or is this Ice Queen's IQ actually on par with Kyle's? Sophia's face instantly darkened. She swore, if looks could kill, I'd be riddled with holes right now. She took a document from her drawer and pushed it across the table. It wasn't a divorce settlement. It was a stock transfer agreement. This is a 5% stake in Novatech Solutions, she said, looking at me, enunciating each word. Once the acquisition is complete, it will be transferred to your name. I was completely dumbfounded. Giving me shares? Why? Just because I provided intel from the farmer's market old-timers? This Ice Queen, she didn't actually fall for me, did she? Oh no, can I still get this divorce? My slacker life. My heart cried out in despair. Sophia listened to my internal lament, looking at my face, which looked as if the sky had fallen. She suddenly felt that tormenting this man seemed far more interesting than signing a divorce settlement. A desire to punish his internal, just want to coast through life thought quietly arose. I don't want your information for free, she said calmly. From today on, you are my chief strategic consultant, and you'll need to keep going to the farmer's market. Me? Chief strategic consultant? Farmer's market? How did those two words even connect? I became Sophia Miller's chief farmer's market consultant. The title made me feel like I was living in a world of magical realism. Sophia's execution was terrifyingly efficient. The very next day, she swiftly mobilized funds and, before Apex Corp could react, acquired Novatech Solutions in full with lightning speed. The news shocked the entire business world. Everyone thought Sophia had lost her mind, giving up the lucrative Grandview Tower project to buy some unknown small company. Kyle spread rumors throughout the company, saying Sophia was pig-headed and would eventually drive the Miller Group into the ground. However, just 3 days later, official news broke. The Grandview Tower project had significant safety hazards and technical barriers. The project was immediately halted, and all companies that had invested in the early stages lost everything. Apex Corp, as the largest investor, saw its stock price plummet by 30% overnight, its cash flow hanging by a thread. The Miller Group, having withdrawn early, was unscathed. Not only that, Novatech Solutions' core patent, due to the failure of the Grandview Tower project, became a hot commodity as an alternative solution in the market. Countless companies came knocking, waving money, seeking cooperation. Novatech's valuation more than quadrupled in just 3 days. Sophia was hailed as a genius. The entire Miller family was silent. Robert and Kyle, who had been criticizing her, had their faces slapped so hard they didn't dare leave their houses. At the Miller family estate, Sophia sat at the head of the table, calmly sipping tea. I sat beside her, munching on apple. TSK, do these guys' faces hurt? I told them Kyle was a lightweight, but they didn't believe me. Now, are they happy? But Sophia's move was indeed brilliant. Fast, decisive, and ruthless. Just like I used to be, I munched on my apple, nodding in approval internally. Sophia's hand, holding the teacup, paused almost imperceptibly. Just like he used to be? What was he like then? She suddenly felt a flicker of curiosity about this man's past. Ahem. Robert cleared his throat, forcing a smile that was uglier than a frown. Sophia, you really do have foresight. Uncle was just getting old and confused before. Kyle also lowered his head, his voice barely a whisper. Cousin Sophia, I was wrong. Sophia ignored them, instead turning to me, a faint curve on her lips. Consultant Chun, she spoke, her voice quiet but clear enough for everyone to hear. What do you think our next step should be? Pfft. I almost choked on my apple. All eyes once again focused on me. Shock, confusion, bewilderment. Sophia was asking this good-for-nothing for his opinion. I looked at Sophia's eyes, which held a hint of slyness, and my internal alarm bells blared. This woman, she's totally doing this on purpose. She wants to push me into the limelight. No way, my persona is useless slacker. I can't break character. My slacker life needs me to protect it. I immediately wiped my mouth, putting on a guileless smile. I think we should press on with our victory, I said enthusiastically. Sophia raised an eyebrow, signaling me to continue. I cleared my throat and announced loudly, I think we should immediately give all employees 3 days off to celebrate properly. Vacation. I want a vacation. I want to go fishing. I want to have a barbecue. Work is for other people. Only holidays are mine. My mind praised my own cleverness. Sophia, the Miller family. The air was dead silent. Kyle's mouth twitched uncontrollably, his eyes on me as if I were an idiot. Just as I thought Sophia would kick me out, she slowly set down her teacup and nodded. Good idea. She looked at the stunned crowd and calmly announced, We'll do as Consultant says. The Miller Group will have 3 days of paid leave. In that moment, I saw the words worldview collapsing written all over Kyle's face. And I, in my mind, let out a desperate cry. No way. That worked? What is this Ice Queen up to? Has she been charmed by my irresistible personality? No. Sophia heard my thoughts, and the smile on her lips could no longer be hidden. She found that keeping this man by her side, watching his inner turmoil and helplessness, was truly entertaining. The Miller Group had an unprecedented 3-day holiday. I thought I could use the opportunity to enjoy my slacker life, but Sophia's call summoned me to the company. In a vast CEO's office, only the two of us were present. She tossed a document to me. Apex Corp's Asset Valuation Report. Take a look. I flipped through it, knowing exactly what it was about. What's there to look at? Apex is an empty shell now. The most valuable assets are the land and a few distribution channels. But their CEO, Richard Hayes, is a tough nut to crack, the type who'd rather burn it all down than surrender. In my previous life, it took me a lot of effort to deal with him. I mused internally, but out loud I said, too many words. Can't understand it. How about? I read it to you. Sophia massaged her temples. She knew this would happen. No need to read it, she said, suppressing her irritation. I'm just asking if I want to acquire Apex. What do you think is the best place to start? Again? She's really treating me like a consultant now? Fine, for my settlement money. No, for my wife's company. I'll begrudgingly give some advice. I feigned deep thought, pacing around the office. Richard Hayes, that old fox, his only weakness is his good-for-nothing son, Ryan. A typical playboy, loves gambling and women. If we can make some trouble for his son, Richard Hayes will fall in line. I walked to the window, watching the bustling city below, and said mysteriously, I believe the business world is like a battlefield, but sometimes you don't have to solve problems on the battlefield. Sophia listened quietly. As they say, a fortress is always broken from within. I turned, giving her a profound, enigmatic smile. Done. My piece is said. Let her figure out the rest. As smart as she is, she'll definitely understand. I need to get home and catch up on my shows. I haven't watched yesterday's update. Sophia looked at my smug, job done, vanished quietly with all the credit expression, feeling both exasperated and amused. This guy always managed to give the most precise answers with the most perfunctory attitude. I understand, she nodded. You could go home. I felt like I'd been granted a pardon and turned to run. Freedom. Hearing my joyful thoughts, Sophia shook her head helplessly. She picked up her phone and dialed a number. Please find out what Ryan Hayes, the son of Apex Corp, as CEO Richard Hayes, has been up to lately. 3 days later, a shocking scandal rocked the entire city. Ryan Hayes, the heir to Apex Corp, had accumulated massive gambling debts in an overseas casino. Incriminating videos of him were leaked, spreading across the entire internet. In the videos, Ryan wept profusely, not only admitting to embezzling company funds, but also exposing financial fraud in several Apex Corp projects. The public was outraged. Apex Corp, as already shaky stock price, instantly collapsed. Banks came calling for their debts, and partners terminated their agreements. Plagued by internal and external problems, the usually unyielding Richard Hayes turned gray overnight. He had no choice but to declare bankruptcy. Sophia, meanwhile, effortlessly acquired Apex Corp's most valuable assets at a ridiculously low price. This pulling the rug out from under move was both brutal and brilliant, earning the admiration of the entire business world. Everyone wondered what kind of genius Sophia Miller had by her side, capable of such ingenious and transformative strategies. That genius, however, was currently wearing Bermuda shorts and flip-flops, watering a pot of orchids on the balcony. TSK, this snow-crowned lotus orchid is growing well, but the soil isn't right. I need to find some humus from the backyard to repot it when I have time. I was humming a tune when my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I answered casually. Alex? A cold, haughty female voice came from the other end. I paused. The voice sounded familiar. Who is this? Chloe Peterson. I searched my mind for the name. Oh, right. Chloe Peterson, the eldest daughter of the Peterson family. Before my family went bankrupt in my previous life, Grandpa arranged for us to be betrothed. Later, when my family fell on hard times, she was the first to show up, tearing up the engagement contract in front of everyone and declaring, "From this day forward, you and I are worlds apart." Why is she calling? Did she also hit rock bottom 10 years later and now wants to borrow money from me? The one who's world apart from her? Chloe, on the other end, hearing my calm breathing, spoke with a hint of condescending arrogance. I hear you're currently the live-in husband for the Miller family? Yeah, that's right, I replied lazily. Alex, we were acquainted once. I'll give you an opportunity. Leave the Millers and come work for my company. I can offer you a VP position, a six-figure salary. It's certainly better than being a kept man. Her tone was as if she were bestowing an immense favor upon me. I almost burst out laughing. VP? A six-figure salary? Is she trying to send me to the poorhouse? The strategic plan I developed for her family's company back then is probably still worth $100 million today. What a dumb broad. I yawned and said lazily, "No thanks, not interested." You. Chloe seemed surprised by my refusal, her voice instantly turning cold. Alex, don't be ungrateful. What Sophia Miller can give you, I can give 10 times over. What she can't give you, I can. Following her, you'll always be an insignificant nobody. Oh, I said, picking at my ear. Are you done? If so, I'm hanging up. I need to water my orchids. Without waiting for her response, I hung up. Saying one more word to such a self-important woman is a waste of my precious time enjoying the sun. Meanwhile, at the study door, Sophia stood quietly. In her hand was a freshly brewed cup of tea, her expression unreadable. She had vaguely overheard parts of Chloe's call. In all of my internal monologue, she heard every single word. $100 million strategic plan? She looked at the man in Bermuda shorts, her eyes deepening. Alex, how many more secrets are you hiding? Chloe's call was just a minor interlude. I quickly dismissed it from my mind and resumed my slacker agenda. But Sophia clearly didn't see it that way. That evening at dinner, she casually brought up, I hear the Peterson Group is vying for an overseas energy project lately. I was busy eating, not looking up. Energy project? Oh, the Oasis Energy Initiative. In my past life, Chloe fell flat on her face with that project, lost everything, and almost went bankrupt. A classic pie-in-the-sky scheme. Anyone who believes it is an idiot. After my internal critique, I mumbled indistinctly, "Don't know, don't care. Just eat." Sophia put down her chopsticks and quietly watched me. "Alex, you and Chloe, you knew each other before." My heart skipped a beat. Here it comes. The woman's death question. How should I answer this? If I say yes, she'll definitely ask how we met. If I say no, and she finds out, won't that be deception? My mind raced. Got it. I looked up, staring at her earnestly. Yes, we did. She's the friend of my distant cousin's classmates, neighbors' dogs. Friend, Sophia. She felt her patience was being tested to its limits every single day. Is that distant enough? Is that clear enough? I'm such a clever little guy. I was smug about my own ingenuity. Sophia took a deep breath, deciding to give up on this faker. She simply said calmly, "I don't care what your relationship with her is. However, the Miller Group and the Peterson Group will soon be competitors." I froze. Competitors? Is Sophia going after that Oasis Energy Initiative too? No, that's a trap. My wife can't jump into that. In my panic, I almost blurted out my thoughts. I suddenly grabbed her wrist, urgently saying, "You can't touch that project." My movement was so sudden that Sophia didn't react at all. Her wrist was slender, her skin cool and smooth to the touch. I immediately realized my impropriety and quickly let go. Holy cow, what did I just do? I actually touched the Ice Queen's hand. She's not going to chop off my hand, is she? So smooth. Bah, so dangerous. My heart was pounding like a drum. Sophia was also stunned. Her wrist still felt the warmth of my palm, burning hot. This was the first time we'd had such intimate contact in our 2 years of marriage. She looked at my flustered expression, hearing my internal storm, and a blush uncontrollably crept onto her cheeks. She quickly averted her gaze, hiding her embarrassment, but her voice unconsciously softened a little. "Why can't I touch it?" "Because..." I scratched my head, desperate. I couldn't say I was reborn, could I? The farmer's market old-timers couldn't take the blame every day. "Got it." I slapped my thigh, lowered my voice, and whispered mysteriously, "I've been reading the cosmic tea leaves, and I've seen a malevolent star looming over this project, radiating a powerful, ominous aura. It's a harbinger of great misfortune. Anyone who touches it will be doomed." Sophia, she no longer wanted to speak. From farmer's market insights to cosmic mysticism, this man's knowledge base was always so unpredictable. However, looking at my deadpan expression, spouting nonsense, yet unable to hide the worry in my eyes, her heart inexplicably softened. "All right," she nodded gently. "I'll listen to you." I breathed a sigh of relief. Phew, I managed to fool her. My wife's IQ might fluctuate, but at least she's obedient. With her company saved, my settlement money is secure. The faint trace of emotion Sophia had just felt instantly vanished. This man, 3 sentences in, and he was back to his settlement money. She gave me an exasperated glare and stood up to leave. That look, full of subtle charm, made my heart jump again. This Ice Queen, even her eye roll, is beautiful. Vixen, the Miller Group suddenly announced its withdrawal from bidding on the Oasis Energy Initiative project. This news made Chloe Peterson laugh herself silly. She even called me specifically to taunt me. "Alex, do you see? This is the woman you follow. Short-sighted and spineless. The Miller Group will eventually fall apart in her hands. You can still regret it now. Come to me, and I guarantee you'll get far more than being a dog in the Miller family." I listened to her grating voice, put it on speaker, and continued trimming the orchid leaves, saying, "Are you done talking? If so, I'm hanging up. I'm busy. You." Chloe was so furious, she almost smashed her phone. I ruthlessly hung up. I shook my head. She's all flash and no substance. The ancients were right. Just wait till you cry. At this moment, Sophia stood behind me. She looked at my leisurely back, listened to my precise internal commentary, and a faint smile flickered in her eyes. She walked up and placed an invitation on the stone table beside me. "There's a charity gala tonight. You'll come with me." I picked up the invitation and glanced at it. Another one of these boring banquets. A bunch of people wearing fake smiles, flattering each other. I'd rather stay home and watch TV. I was about to find an excuse to refuse when I heard Sophia say calmly, "Tonight's highlight auction item is a vintage bottle of Macallan." My eyes instantly lit up. Macallan. Vintage. Oh my God. I have to go. Am I even human if I don't go? I immediately put on an expression of unwavering commitment. Sophia, contributing to charity is our undeniable responsibility. Don't worry, I'll definitely go with you. Sophia looked at my instantly transformed face, helpless and amused. To get me out of the house, it always came down to food and drink. At the charity gala, everyone was elegantly dressed, glasses clinking. Sophia, in a silver evening gown, was like a goddess under the moonlight, attracting everyone's attention the moment she appeared. And I, in a rented suit, walked beside her like an unremarkable bodyguard. Isn't that Sophia Miller, the ice-cold CEO of the Miller Group? Who's that man with her? Who else? Her kept man, the live-in husband. TSK, a beautiful flower blooming in a pile of cow dung. I ignored the whispers around me. My eyes were fixed only on the Australian lobster and foie gras at the buffet table. Charge! Feast time! Just as I was about to rush towards the embrace of gourmet food, my wrist was grabbed by Sophia. She didn't look at me, but stared straight ahead, her voice low. Don't go. I followed her gaze and saw Chloe Peterson approaching us, glass in hand, a triumphant smirk on her face. Beside her was a blonde, blue-eyed foreigner. Sophia, long time no see. Chloe smiled like a proud peacock. Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Mark Jenkins, the head of the Oasis Energy Initiative project. She ostentatiously linked her arm through his. Our Peterson Group has already reached a preliminary cooperation agreement with Mr. Jenkins. The foreigner, Mark Jenkins, spoke in fluent English. Ms. Miller, I regret that you missed out on an opportunity worth hundreds of millions. Chloe looked at Sophia, her eyes filled with the smugness of a victor. Then, her gaze fell on me, full of scorn and disdain. Alex, do you see? This is the difference in vision. Following the wrong leader, you're destined to be a nobody your entire life. Before I could speak, Sophia, who had been silent, suddenly moved. She stepped forward, naturally linking her arm through mine, her body pressing close against me. A soft touch and a faint fragrance instantly enveloped me. My whole body stiffened. Holy cow! Holy cow! She linked arms with me. She's pressing so close. I can feel. No. I'm a respectable man. What is going on? My heart was doing a frantic dance. Sophia felt my stiff body, heard my incoherent internal roar, and a captivating smile curved her lips. She looked up, meeting Chloe's startled gaze, and spoke calmly. Whether one has vision or not isn't decided by words. Her eyes swept over Mark Jenkins, then rested on Chloe. She said, word for word, and whether my man is a nobody or a genius is for me to decide. Who do you think you are? Sophia's words were like a thunderclap, echoing through the banquet hall. Everyone was stunned. Sophia Miller, the ice-cold SO known for her aloofness and few words, would actually utter such a powerful, protective declaration for her good-for-nothing husband? Chloe's face instantly turned a deep shade of crimson. She hadn't expected her carefully prepared display to result in public humiliation. She trembled with rage. Sophia Miller, don't get too smug. Once I sign the Oasis Energy Initiative, we'll see if you can still laugh. Oh, if that's so. A rich, resonant voice suddenly came from nearby. Everyone turned to see a spirited old man in an impeccably tailored suit walking towards them, surrounded by a retinue of people. Seeing who it was, the entire hall erupted in gasps. It's Mr. Henderson, Arthur Henderson. My God, why is he here? Arthur Henderson, a towering figure in American business, a legendary man whose slightest move would shake the entire industry. I looked at him, feeling a bit surprised myself. Old Henderson? Why is he here? Didn't he say he retired to go fishing in the mountains? Arthur Henderson ignored the exclamations and walked directly up to me. To everyone's disbelief, he bowed respectfully to me. Sir, long time no see. Sir? The entire banquet hall fell silent. Everyone's jaws dropped. Mr. Henderson, called Alex, the good-for-nothing. Sir? Chloe's eyes widened like saucers, her mouth agape enough to fit an egg. Sophia was also stunned. Her hand, linked with mine, unconsciously tightened. I looked at the respectful old man before me, memories from my past life flooding back. Arthur Henderson, a business prodigy I had personally promoted and my most loyal subordinate. I used to call him Old Henderson. I hadn't expected him to be here. I patted his shoulder, my tone as casual as if greeting a neighbor. Old Henderson, I told you to enjoy your retirement. Why are you out and about again? Old Henderson. This address nearly gave everyone around us a heart attack. Arthur Henderson, however, looked flattered, saying excitedly, "It's my greatest honor to serve you again, sir." Then he turned, his sharp gaze sweeping over the foreigner, Mark Jenkins. "Jenkins, isn't it? I remember you. 3 years ago, you were involved in a fraud scheme on Wall Street, wanted by the FBI. What? Now you come to America, change your name, and think you can keep scamming people." Jenkins's face instantly turned ashen. Chloe was also dumbfounded, looking at Jenkins in disbelief, then at Arthur Henderson. Arthur Henderson sneered and gestured to his bodyguards behind him. "Escort him out. Deliver him to the appropriate authorities." 2 men in black suits immediately stepped forward and, like carrying a chicken, lifted the sweating Jenkins and carried him out. "No, Ms. Peterson, save me. Save me." Jenkins struggled in vain. Chloe stumbled backward, speechless with fear. Arthur Henderson didn't even glance at her, instead turning back to me, asking respectfully, "Sir, this woman, she seemed disrespectful to you just now." His eyes instantly turned cold. The temperature in the entire banquet hall seemed to drop several degrees. Chloe's legs went weak with fright, and she almost collapsed. I looked at her pale, distraught face, feeling nothing. "Sigh, you reap what you sow." I originally wanted to let her flaunt a bit longer, but Old Henderson showing up just ended the game. Boring. I waved my hand, saying lazily, "Forget it. Arguing with her is a waste of time. Old Henderson, bid on that vintage Macallan and have it sent to my place." "Yes, sir." Arthur Henderson immediately nodded. I pulled Sophia, who was still in shock, and turned to leave. "Let's go home." As we passed the buffet table, I casually grabbed a lobster tail. Can't come here for nothing. Behind us were Arthur Henderson's respectful farewell, Chloe Peterson's despairing and regretful eyes as she collapsed to the floor, and the guests' expressions as if they had seen a ghost. On the way home, the car was dead silent. Sophia drove, staring straight ahead, but her white-knuckled grip on the steering wheel betrayed her inner turmoil. I sat in the passenger seat, diligently devouring my lobster. Firm meat, just a bit light on the garlic butter, not quite flavorful enough. I ate with relish, completely oblivious to the low pressure beside me. "Alex," Sophia finally spoke, her voice somewhat hoarse. My mouth was full of meat, and I mumbled a response. "Arthur Henderson. Why did he call you, sir?" My heart sank. Here it comes. How do I explain this now? The farmers market old-timers were playing chess, and Arthur Henderson was watching. Even I wouldn't believe that nonsense. My eyes darted around, and I decided to play dumb all the way. I don't know either. Maybe he mistook me for someone else. You know, I have a pretty common face. "Sophia." She slammed on the brakes, pulling the car over to the side of the road. The screeching tires startled me so much I almost swallowed a lobster shell. She turned, her beautiful eyes startlingly bright in the night. She stared intently at me, asking word for word, "How long are you going to keep lying to me?" Her stare made me feel a little guilty. This ice queen is mad? So scary. But she looks pretty good when she's mad too. You're proficient in every cuisine. You can appraise top-tier scotch and bourbon. You understand horticulture and can immediately recognize the intricacies of a snow-crowned lotus orchid. You understand business. Novatech Solutions, Apex Corp. Every step was as precise as if you had a god's eye view. You understand people. You knew Richard Hayes' weakness was his son. You knew Chloe Peterson was greedy and reckless. You even understand, reading the cosmic tea leaves. With each sentence she spoke, my heart sank further. Oh no, she's completely exposed me. When did she find out all this? Did she put a wiretap on me? Sophia looked at my face, which was plastered with shock and guilt, and hearing my absurd speculation, she suddenly felt a little tired. She didn't want to guess anymore. She just wanted the truth. "Alex, who exactly are you?" Her voice held a tremble and a hint of vulnerability that even she didn't detect. I looked at her reddened eyes, and my heart inexplicably softened. Sigh, this woman actually has it pretty tough too. All right, let's lay it all out. Old Henderson's already out, so there's no point in pretending anymore. At worst, she'll think I'm a monster, and then we'll divorce. My slacker life probably won't be affected. I took a deep breath, deciding to confess. All right, I'll stop pretending. I'm coming clean. I looked in her eyes and said seriously, actually, I am. Ding-a-ling-ling. Before I could finish, a frantic phone ring broke the atmosphere in the car. It was Sophia's phone. She glanced at the caller ID. It was her company assistant, and her delicate brows immediately furrowed. It was so late. It must be an emergency. She hesitated for a moment, then answered the call. Hello, Ms. Miller. It's bad. The Peterson Group's stock has crashed, triggering a chain reaction. Several of our downstream partners have been affected, and their cash flow could collapse at any moment. Several of our major projects are now at a standstill. The assistant's anxious voice came through the receiver. Sophia's face instantly turned grave. Though I didn't catch everything, I guessed the general situation. That idiot Chloe finally screwed herself over. But her downfall is really dragging a lot of people down with her. Butterfly effect. Sophia's in trouble now. After hanging up, Sophia's face had returned to its usual coldness. She restarted the car, her voice tinged with weariness. There's an emergency at the company. I need to go back. She didn't press me about my identity again. The car sped all the way back to the Miller mansion. She got out, walking hurriedly towards the house, not even looking at me. I watched her somewhat fragile but determined back, trying to shoulder everything, and sighed internally. Oh well, might as well finish what I started. Who told her she was my wife? Nominally, anyway. I took out my phone and dialed Old Henderson. Old Henderson, it's me. Sir, what are your commands? Arthur Henderson's voice on the other end was filled with excitement. Do 3 things for me. I looked at Sophia's retreating figure, about to disappear through the door, and spoke calmly. First, stabilize the market, keeping the impact of the Peterson Group's collapse to a minimum. Second, discreetly acquire those affected, but high-quality companies. You can pay a little more, consider it compensation for them. Third, consolidate and package all acquired companies and anonymously donate them to the Miller Group under the name of a shell corporation. Arthur Henderson, on the other end of the line, didn't understand why, but he answered without hesitation, Yes, sir. Mission accomplished, guaranteed. I hung up, finished the rest of my lobster, and tossed the shell into the trash, quietly taking all the credit. Done. Now, she should be able to get a good night's sleep. I should probably get to bed too. Staying up late is the enemy of a slacker life. Seize the day, boys, and never let your wine glass go empty. I thought everything I did was completely unnoticed. However, I underestimated Sophia Miller's capabilities, and I overestimated my phone's soundproofing. The moment she entered the house, she didn't walk directly in, but stopped at the entryway. The night was silent. My clear instructions during the phone call drifted into her ears, word for word. Stabilize the market. Discreetly acquire. Anonymously donate to the Miller Group. Sophia leaned against the cold wall, feeling her heart being squeezed by an invisible hand, almost unable to breathe. So, while she was frantically trying to cope, believing she was facing a massive storm alone, this man had calmly taken care of everything for her. He didn't even deign to let her know. Who was he? The answer to that question seemed imminent. A man who could command Arthur Henderson's respect, who could mobilize billions with a snap of his fingers, who regarded the tumultuous business world as nothing. In this world, who else could it be but that person? The business legend who had burst onto the scene 10 years ago, only to mysteriously disappear 5 years ago. Alex Chun. But why had he become this way? Why was he willing to stay in the Miller family as a despised live-in husband? Countless mysteries, like a tidal wave, engulfed her. She didn't go back to the company, nor to her own room. Instead, she stood silently in the dark for a very long time. The next day, I woke up late. Going downstairs, I saw Sophia was also home. She sat on the sofa, and on the coffee table before her was a new divorce settlement. My eyes lit up, and I instantly sobered. Here it comes. It's finally here again. I knew it. Laying everything out would definitely lead to divorce. My dream life, here I come. I rushed over, excitedly picking up the pen. This time, I promise I won't tear it. I'll sign it right away, I said, while mentally calculating. This time, the settlement should be a bit more, right? After all, I did help her out a lot. With money, I'll buy a small house with a yard, plant some flowers, get a dog and a cat. Both a cat and a dog, peak life. The more I thought about it, the better it seemed, and the faster my pen moved. However, just as my pen tip touched the paper, a soft hand pressed down on it. I looked up, meeting Sophia's complex eyes. Alex, she looked at me, her voice very soft. Do you really want to leave me that much? My heart skipped a beat. What's this tactic now? Playing hard to get? Or a change of heart? Wanted to add a zero to my settlement? I blinked cautiously saying, well, Sophia, we're not a good match. You're a phoenix in the sky, and I'm just a dirt dog on the ground. What if? Sophia interrupted me, her eyes fixed on mine. I said I don't want a divorce. Me? No divorce? Why not divorce? Does she not want to lose her chief farmer's market consultant? Or did she actually fall in love with me? This script is all wrong. What happened to the ice-cold CEO? What happened to the disdain? I was completely bewildered. Sophia looked at my ghost-like expression, heard my internal meltdown, and suddenly let out a soft laugh. Her laugh was like an ice mountain melting, 100 flowers blooming. I stared, mesmerized. My God, this ice queen looks too beautiful when she smiles. No, Alex, resist. Don't be swayed by beauty. Freedom is calling your name. Sophia reached out her other hand and gently cupped my cheek. Her fingertips were cool, but they sent a jolt like electricity through me. Alex, she leaned closer, her warm breath caressing my ear, her voice filled with unprecedented allure. Before I was wrong. From today on, let me pursue you, all right? Me. My brain crashed on the spot. Help. I got the wrong script. Wasn't this supposed to be a cool male protagonist story? How did it turn into the CEO's runaway husband? I fled in a panic. Facing Sophia's direct approach, I, a seasoned veteran of 2 lives, felt completely flustered for the first time. I locked myself in my room and tried to calm down for an entire day. This isn't scientific. How did Sophia, this ice queen, change her personality so suddenly? Was she body swapped? Or did she finally discover my interesting soul beneath my handsome exterior? I stroked my chin narcissistically, looking in the mirror. It must be that. Oh, my irresistible darn charm. Downstairs in the living room, Sophia, who was sipping tea, almost spat it out when she heard my thoughts. This guy's narcissism was practically on par with his business acumen. But an interesting soul? She looked out the window, a faint smile unconsciously curving her lips. Yes, very interesting indeed. The following days, I lived a life of sweet torment. In the morning, before I even woke up, Sophia would have freshly made breakfast brought to my bedside. This is a sugar-coated bullet. She tried to erode my slacker will. I mustn't surrender, I mentally vowed, while honestly devouring every last one of her homemade croissants. Delicious. During the day, if I wanted to sunbathe on the balcony, she would have a lounge chair set up with a fruit platter and iced lemonade waiting. This is a gentle trap. She wants me to revel in comfort and forget my longing for freedom. I must be vigilant. I remained vigilant while comfortably lounging, taking a sip of lemonade. Refreshing. In the evening, if I wanted to watch TV, she would have the program guide checked in advance, hand me the remote, and then quietly sit beside me, watching those boring soap operas with me. One time, I got so emotional, I accidentally shed a tear. Oh no, I'm a grown man, crying over a TV show. So embarrassing. Sophia, beside me, immediately offered a tissue, then subtly shifted closer, her shoulder gently touching mine. She's leaning on me. Is she trying to comfort me? She smells so good. No, Alex, this is a honey trap. Resist. My mind was engaged in a fierce battle. My body, however, was very honest, not moving, and even leaning my head slightly towards her. Everyone in the Miller family was dumbfounded. The high and mighty Ice Queen CEO was now acting like a young wife, doting on the good-for-nothing live-in husband they all despised. Kyle's jaw had dislocated several times. He couldn't understand what was happening to the world. And I, in this sweet torment, gradually got used to it. I found that Sophia wasn't as cold as I thought. She would secretly laugh at my bad jokes. She would cook me a warm bowl of noodles when I got hungry in the middle of the night. She remembered all my casual preferences, like not eating cilantro and liking iced coffee with light sugar. My heart, it seemed, was slowly filling up without me realizing it. One night, we were again sitting on the sofa watching TV. I looked at her profile, illuminated by the TV screen, flickering between light and shadow, and a thought suddenly crossed my mind. Maybe living like this forever isn't so bad after all. The thought startled me. Wasn't I supposed to be a slacker? Wasn't I supposed to be free? How could I have such a dangerous idea? Just as I was struggling internally, Sophia, beside me, suddenly turned her head. Her eyes sparkled in the dark. She looked at me, her voice very soft, but with immense certainty. "Alex, I heard it." I froze. "Heard what?" She smiled, a smile more radiant than the stars outside the window. "You said, living like this forever isn't so bad after all." My face instantly flushed crimson. I didn't. Before I could finish, her soft lips sealed off all my protests. In that moment, my mind went blank. Only one thought remained. And